Hello ladies and gents, boys and girls, people of all ages, sexualities and identities, and welcome back to another play review. And today's play review is One Man, Two Governors. So what is One Man, Two Governors about? Well, it's about a young man who is kind of in need of work. And of course he finds himself in a situation in which he ends up working for two different employers. Now, one of these employers happens to be a gangster. The other one happens to just be a posh gentleman with a very wealthy business. Now, both employers have basically paid him to be a bit of a chauffeur to chauffeur them around, from hotels to big gigs to places they need to be. However, the two employers are absolute rivals. So our main character here, who you can see played by James Corden, is basically trying to balance the plates in order to make sure that his two governors don't come into contact with one another. It also turns out that he's doing these jobs to impress a very, very beautiful lady who he is madly in love with. Now, of course, the one thing our protagonist doesn't know is that one of the characters who is a gangster isn't actually who he says he is. It turns out that it's his sister who's running the business whilst he's away. And to make it even more prominent, it turns out that his sister is madly in love with the other employer. So there happens to be a lot of twists in this play. I mean, for instance, he goes back and forth and says that he's done one job for one of the governors and then has to remember that he hasn't done it for the other. When the other starts asking him questions about why he's so late or why he's acting a little bit strange, he just tries to cover it up and say it's tiredness. However, at the end of the play, he comes clean and essentially admits to the pair of them that he has been a right plonker. He's been getting himself in a lot of cobble all the way around and keeps getting himself in more trouble. All the cobble he's been spewing between the pair of them just means that it's started to make a lot of his debt rack up. At the end of it, he admits to both characters that essentially he's just been trying to do what he wants to essentially help himself climb. He didn't mean to bring both governors into it, but with the benefits that it reaped, he couldn't help himself. Both governors forgive him at the end of the play, and of course they let him off and keep him employed with them. However, they kind of point out to him that he shouldn't lie in the future and should learn a lesson from this, especially when it comes down to the fact of working for anyone. So, what do I give this play out of 10? Well, James Corden's performance in this is absolutely sensational. The way that he carries off this kind of greedy young man who is working for all the money, but also is kind of a nod, in my opinion, to Friar Tuck from Robin Hood. He's kind of that one where as soon as food's involved, he can't help himself. But I absolutely also love the way that it's played off in this play between him and all the other cast, that he is not just gullible, but he does have a kind of backbone behind himself. He just struggles to use it sometimes. However, for the characters playing the gangster and the businessman, I absolutely love the comparisons. How the one playing the gangster, who is secretly a sister, is essentially playing it off that she's heard what her brother talks like. Meanwhile, the other employer is this very posh, upper class, very well respectable gentleman. I also love how the love character for James Corden's is Friar Tuck in this is very, very cheeky. The way that she comes across definitely starts to make it even more of a understandable for the audience, the fact that he would be running after her. So overall, as I said, for great comedic timing and storytelling, I give this a solid 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next play review, you beautiful people.